What's up everybody, this is of course Lite Crypto here, and today we are going to be reviewing the BitBoy One gaming console, which we have been talking about since early last year on this channel. I believe it was around February when they had the pre-sale for this console. Now, before we go into my individual review of this console, I want to first break down what exactly this console can do, what is the value proposition, and why you should maybe think about buying one. So currently they have sold out the Summer Orange Edition, which is the one that I have. I believe in future they are going to be releasing new versions which might have a different type of a color scheme. Maybe they're thematically different, and maybe there's some improvements also on the hardware. Maybe they're going to be adding more buttons and things like that. Now let's get into the actual highlights of this device. So as you can see, it is quite similar to the Game Boy Color, but it does have a lot more extra buttons on it. There's a home button on the very middle. There's a select and start. Then you have X, Y, A, and B. On the side, there's a power button and one other extra button. And on the other side, there's volume buttons. And then there's obviously the touchpad. And on the back, there's also these, what are they called? Like also other buttons on the back, which didn't exist on the original Game Boy Color by Nintendo. So it's a bit different in terms of its feel, but obviously those back buttons are very, very nice. So this is a device that is a combination of deep-in gaming, Web3 gaming, and Web2 gaming. So one of the big draws of this console is, as I will be showing you later on in this video, is that you can actually play old school retro games for different types of, gaming consoles. So this includes, I think, Dreamcast, we have N64, we have PS1, some games are run on that, we have PlayStation Portable, we have Sega Genesis, we have Ataris, all of those old devices. I think the newest one it can support is PS1 games. So a lot of old games, and by playing these games on this console, you are going to be accumulating points. There's also a chance to earn Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies by playing. I don't know what they exactly mean by that, but I guess it's something to do with the mining feature, which we're going to be addressing later on. So essentially, it is a combination of Web3 gaming. We have Web2 emulator, which is really easy to use. It just leads to download a couple of things, and then it can just click like that, run any game from these consoles that you have basically downloaded through RetroArch, which is this sort of a emulator platform, a really good one in case you have played around with that. And then there's a deep in GameFi, Bitcoin. There are Web3 games which will be accumulating you points, and I believe these points are going to be eventually leading into an actual airdrop. In terms of some of the statistics here, we have the display, which is 345, resolution is 6448, which is pretty standard for that time, 4 gigs of memory, connectivity is going through Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, and 8 hours of battery of gameplay. That is gameplay, not exactly just browsing. So there's inbuilt wallet also inside the console, and a miner too, and it has its own operating software. And also, yeah, I forgot to mention that it's actually a touchscreen. So let's kind of a bit of unboxing here and show the bit of the device in my hand. So in terms of the size, as you can see, it is pretty much the same as the actual original Game Boy Color console. And I think it's very ideal for playing a lot of these games, like the retro games and even the Web3 games, which are installed inside. So in terms of the way it loads and fast, I think it's pretty good experience. Sometimes loading times can be kind of slow. I mean, because it has to kind of download some of these consoles, and the booting up the console is not super fast. And it seems to be using some a tablet Android interface on some of the parts of the console. At least that's what it's doing on the retro side of things. And that's kind of explains why. Probably because they wanted to do this touchscreen feature is reason they might have gone some of these tablet features. But it's not 60 FPS, so you can clearly tell that it's moving a bit slower than, not inside the games, but in terms of the interface, it can take a bit of time for it to register everything. It's a bit of a very small input delay on, using the interface. I don't really mind it too much. I think it's definitely okay and normal, and I don't really have much complaint about it. It's just something that you kind of have to get used to. In terms of the battery, it's kind of those old, a newer laptops and everything. If you leave them around on your home, they will constantly drain battery. compared to like old Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advance, you like could leave them for 1 month in a drawer or something. They wouldn't drain battery. So I think there's a bit like, at least I had to like charge it again at one point. I felt like I did definitely charge it at one point and it was full battery. And then I tried to open it again and I realized it's not opening. There was like a maybe 3-day delay here or something like that. And then I had to charge it again. And then I could just open the console again. So that's maybe one weird anecdotal feature. Maybe it was due to patching or something like that. Or firmware. I don't know. But I guess the console's battery is decent. And obviously there's USB ports on buses and even planes and transports. There are like a lot of places where you can charge a device like this because it's using a USB. So it's not a really big, and 8 hours of battery is pretty good for playing retro games. Obviously, some people has to do like a benchmark testing on that battery and see how long it can really last. Now there's other features inside this actual device. There's obviously the mining feature. And the mining feature, I have to say, completely honest, it's solo mining, and that's what you kind of expected from a small device like this. And it's very similar to the USB miner that we recently reviewed. It's anywhere from 30 to, I don't know, like some people have claimed 120 mega hashes or something like that. So that means we are talking about like 1 in 15 trillion to basically win a block. It's a nice novel feature, like kind of like maybe, could talk about like a teaching way of learning about mining. But it can also mine fractal. I don't know much about the fractal project. I know it's like adjacent to Bitcoin, so I can't really comment on that. Maybe that is something that you could do on the device a bit better with higher odds to actually win something and get rewards. But it's not a novel feature. It's kind of nice that they added it in, but fundamentally, yes, you're not going to get rich by starting to mine with this console. Then there is obviously the factor of wallets. So you can actually import your seed phrase inside here. I think it supports Ledger, Unisat, and there was a third one which I don't remember right now, which was supported on the device. You don't need to do this because you can actually link up your wallet throughout the BitBoy Games website. So I don't need to add my actual seed phrases inside the device. I can just like sign them through like a third-party sign-up thing. So there's a connectivity thing which you can do once you get the console for the first time. So that's kind of convenient. And obviously I don't see any problem of actually like adding the wallet inside the actual application. That means that you can just transfer money. But there's not like a QR code scanner over here at the device, so it's kind of like hard to send money. You kind of have to type it in, so that might be a bit inconvenient, but it is what it is. So in case you want to access your funds on the go, it's not like a bad option or anything like that. But in terms of like all of these options that are inside, I actually do like that there is like it's working like a phone in a sense that it can do multiple different things. It's a gaming console, but it has this mining and wallet features also inbuilt inside. Now, let's kind of also talk about some of the promotions that they currently have going on. So they do have this New Year treasure hunt going on in case you're interested in. You have the ability to do a part of these quests and these tasks, and these will basically get you points, and from these points you're going to be getting types of rewards. There are also airdrops which happen inside the platform, and you are accumulating points by playing games inside. So if you play retro games, you are going to get points for that. So you don't need to play the Web3 games if you don't want to. You can just play the Web2 stuff all you want. So all of those classic games you like playing, just play them if you don't want to play the Web3 ones that are also pre-installed inside the console. So that's a very, very nice feature, that it's not gated way into like, oh, you have to play these Web3 games, which are not as good as some of these, your classic Sonic games and Mario's and etc. And the price of the device was, I believe, $500 back at the launch. And at some point, I think there might have been a discounted price also. I don't remember if I did actually pay $500 in total. But there is also the NFTs, which were, the ordinals, which were issued for people who basically bought them. The floor is currently 0.03, almost 34 BTC. And there seems to be, I don't know, there's not many copies of these actually existing, maybe 1,000 or something. So not very many. But right now, as you know, there's no way to buy it. Maybe after a week this video comes out, or maybe watching this video from a week from now, 2 weeks from now, they might have a supply and they're taking orders again for the new version, which might have better battery, more buttons on the console, better skin. It can be many things, many updates. But fundamentally, it is actually a pretty good value proposition, as you're getting points and there's going to be a play to earn thing. And they are likely going to be getting, and I think they have been getting, a lot of like ordinal and rune drops based on people who are holding the NFT as well. So I think there's that value proposition. But overall, I would say the console is actually pretty good. I don't really have much complaint about it, outside from like booting the console up and then just getting into the games. It might take a bit of time to get like actually playing. It's not as fast as you would expect on some of the traditional handheld consoles, but it is what it is. Now, there's also another device which I need to talk about since there's so much similarity between the two. There's the Play Solana console, which we also have talked about on the channel. It is basically identical console. It just has joysticks on it, and it's a lot more cheaper. So if you're like looking for a console, I don't know, by the way, is this going to be able to play retro games, or is it only Web3? And what are the specs of it? But this is a lot more affordable. It's $300 compared to the BitBoy One, which was $500. Maybe they will launch with a new price that is more affordable. But if you're looking for another console which has gaming potential, wallet integration, and obviously airdrops, and they have, by the way, announced already like 7 airdrops for this console. And so I think, obviously, I have bought both. And then we can, once I get that copy, I will be able to tell you whatever it is better or not. But overall, like, yes, if you're a Bitcoin maxi, you love Bitcoin, this is a must-pay product. I think it's pretty great, and it just surprisingly runs well. I just expected, like, initially when I bought it, I didn't even know it would support retro games. So that was pretty nice feature to know about afterwards. And it's not a very tech-savvy device either. It's like a very straightforward process to basically install those emulator games inside, and just very convenient. But that basically wraps up my video. I'm gonna leave all the links down below for the website and also their promotional New Year's thing where they're actually giving out, I think they are giving out like 0.01 BTC as a reward or something. So yeah, and also they are giving out a limited edition BitBoy gaming console version. I don't know if that's some premium edition, so you should maybe definitely enter and try to win one, as these devices, these gaming consoles, are becoming more popular in crypto, and they can be serious money makers, whatever is playing those Web3 games, or whatever is throughout the airdrops or some other features that they're going to be having. Now, and the very last point I want to talk about is the DEPIN stuff that they kind of advertised on the thing, but I don't know what exactly DEPIN features they currently have inside. Maybe in the future it can maybe release bandwidth and get paid from that. You get points from that, something akin to, you know, Get Grass and those other extensions that we have in DEPIN. But I don't know right now. I don't know what exactly is DEPIN about this device, or is the DEPIN features coming out in the future. But hey, once again, thanks for watching. I will be seeing you guys in the next video when it will be dropping out. Cheers.